Okay, let's get this live stream started. I told you I would come back. I really had second thoughts about doing it, but I said I would and I would. It's a little later in the night than what I normally live stream. So let's get started. Let me share this screen on my other platforms and notify my followers, my supporters that I am live. You all help me do the same by hitting that thumbs up, hitting the like button. Um, YouTube, especially love that algorithm. So sharing is caring. So let's get those thumbs up. Come in and say hello, right? As we get part two going, right? Hello, Lori from Georgia. Hello, Lee, aka Les Brown, is in. Um, Hello, MJ. Hello to you. Let me lift my chair up some. Okay, that's it for that. So, Lori, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Right. Julia Davis, thank you for tuning in, everyone. And let's get this started, right? Let's get this started. I'm going to stay on topic. I'm going to stay on focus because it is later in the night than what I normally live stream. But because I live streamed earlier, I decided to finish the topic. So let's start off with this. Um, Most of America's extra pandemic money is going to the wealthy, right? If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know the wealth of the wealthier has increased during this pandemic by trillions of dollars, right? Trillions of dollars. I did a live stream on that last week. Not billions, people, trillions for the wealthy during this pandemic. Article released today. Most of America's extra savings during the pandemic are going to the wealthy. America added nearly 4 trillion, the number 4, right? The number 4 is completion of a whole thing. Completion of a whole thing. Give me 1 second. Let me pull something up. Also, the number 4 means to affirm and sustain, right? The number 4 also means to affirm and sustain. On the fourth day, right? On the fourth day, God affirmed it and sustains the earth systems. It means to be highly creative or highly creative and expressive vibration, right? So, in this right, in reference to this article, we're going to say 4 means to affirm and sustain, right? To affirm and sustain. So America's added nearly $4 trillion to their savings to the COVID pandemic, but most of the gains went to the wealthy, according to the new study from Oxford Economics. Stimulus checks, rising stock markets, and fewer spending choices led to a massive savings boom over the past year. So there were some people that were trying to save, right? According to this article by CNBC, while it's not surprising that American savings like income and wealth are concentrated at the top, the degree of the savings inequality was unexpected, right? So Americans added nearly 4 trillion, right, to confirm and sustain. Number four, the fourth day, four things were created on the fourth day, right? Light, the sun and the moon for giving for light and direction, the stars. Um, so you have light, life meaning yield bearing fruit, right? Land, land. The earth lands was created, dry land. We're supposed to stand, land under our feet, stand under it, right? Or have an understanding of land. And then liquid. You have the oceans that were created all on the fourth day. So you had the earth systems all created on the fourth day, which means to confirm and sustain a thing, right? Lori, thank you so much for the 1111 super chat. We will say our affirmation for that over the end. I always expect on your giving, right? So stimulus checks, rising stock markets, fewer spending choices led to a massive savings boom over the past year. Americans now, before this, it was 1 out of 4 Americans that had, I'm reading this, 1 out of 4 Americans had $500 savings in their savings account, right? Before this. So now they're saving, and it's saying these excessive savings or savings above and beyond normal pre-pandemic growth level were more screwed to the top or the wealthy. Of the 2.6 trillion in liquid asset savings, 80% went to the top 20%, and 42% went to the top 1%. At the same time, households in the bottom income level saved less, right? Bottom income households save less than implied than their pre-pandemic behavior, the study also found. While it's not surprising that American savings like income and wealth are concentrated at the top, this is why you invest, right? Savers, according to Robert Kiyosaki, are losers. Why are you losers? Because your dollar and the cost of living continues to increase as your dollar is able to purchase more, meaning that its value decreases. So even more, the wealthier got richer, the top heavy savings, economists, cite that American saving boom is one reason why consumer spending will remain strong in the coming months, since households will be able to tap in their savings. So they're expecting spending to remain strong. The study found people that 360 billion of savings will be spent down over the next year and a half based on household spending and savings rate. So at least some people did stock up to prepare, right? At least there were some people that did not make bad financial decisions. They were saving, looks like, for a rainy day. You all let me know how my video is coming across, because I'm getting a weak Wi-Fi signal. And I do have, let me pause 1 second, see how this Wi-Fi is. This Wi-Fi signal getting stronger? Because it's looking blurry on my end. So is it still blurry? Yeah, it's still looking blurry on my end. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's clearing up a little bit, not a lot. So let's see. Because we got 180. Yeah, it is slightly blurry, but I'm gonna keep live streaming. If it gets worse, just let me know. It's clearing up a little better, but not a lot. So okay, so it's getting a little better. So the study estimates that 2.50 billion um, of the roughly 360 billion in spending came from um, the top wealthy, the top heavy people in the economy, right? So high end restaurants, for example, resorts, fashion, collectibles, jewelry, wine, and other business that cater to the more affluent, they're predicting will do better in the coming months than retailers and businesses for the mass market, or in other words, for the poor working middle class, right? The upper income households save more. Let me show you this in this article. This is not me, right? Thank you. Um, Wanesa Jackson for the 1111 super chat. Stay on to the end so we can do our affirmation. Thank you. And always expect a return on your giving, right? And we will say the affirmation to release that return at the end. Since the upper middle class households save more during this period, right? It will largely depend on those other households. So it is saying that, yeah, affluent will do better in the coming months than retailers. Economists say high-end restaurants, resorts, fashion, collectibles, jewelry, wine, other affluent will cater to these people. Now, this is the one I want to stress. The wealthy typically spend a smaller share of their savings on consumptions than the middle class and lower earners. So the overall spending in the coming months from savings could fall short. Mm. So the wealthy spent less, but they still improved their wealth by trillions because they took advantage of the people that did not have a financial education and went out and wanted to look or act wealthy or look rich. They wanted to go out and do things they hadn't done. We got extra money, we got extra stimulus, not thinking like, what if my job is restructured? What if my spouse's job is restructured? Because they don't understand what's the future of this economy, right? Right? Or they don't care to understand, right? So now let's talk about the CDC. I had someone on my previous live stream to say that the CDC um, extended the eviction moratorium to October. This was not for all states, first of all, right? As I predicted, because I know I had not read this. This was definitely not for all states. The eviction moratorium is extension after the Democratic Party outcry. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, on Tuesday issued a moratorium on evictions targeting areas of the country with high levels of um, the Delta or COVID, Corona, whatever you want to call it, transmission, extending an eviction ban for much of the nation. This is not for all of the nation. For much of the nation, just days after the blanket moratorium had expired, right? So the CDC order applies to counties experiencing significant levels of virus spread, defined by the agency as 50 to 100 cases per 100,000. So it applies to these counties only. This is not a nationwide, right? Moratorium. This is not nationwide. This applies to certain counties, and these counties have to fall within 50 to 100 cases per 100,000 people. it is saying that this order will likely, it didn't say it will most definitely, but it will likely apply to about 90% of the rental population. So there was correct on the date. I know this applies to Texas, for example, California, and New York, most definitely, I believe. The order will expire October the 3rd. Someone said that their state is September. I forgot what state that was on my last live stream. So extending the moratorium while thousands of Americans face uncertainty about the potential removal from their homes. Now, I know that Wells Fargo extended the rents due for Wells Fargo mortgages, and also was it Wells Fargo and I think it was Chase Bank. I know it was two of the major banks for next year, as far as when their rent is due. However, there's been no other big banks that have made these announcements. So evicted renters still at this point must move, and this will lead to multiple outcomes that increase the risk of, they're saying, the spread or the variant, right? And so they're showing that just under half of households behind on rent believe they could be evicted within the next 2 months. Now, President Biden did acknowledge at the news conference earlier today that the CDC order still may not uphold in court, but he argued that it will be minimal time for states and local governments to distribute aid to renters and landlords. Right. So he's still saying that this order still may not uphold in court. Right. So there it is. Right. It went from an extension from March to July. Now it's for some areas from August to October. So the time is definitely getting shorter. Now, next topic is the nationwide emergency alert. So make sure you all hit the like button, hit the thumbs up, share the live stream. CD Till says 811 911. What about 811 911? CD Till. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about. I was in a meeting today about security and crime. Don't know if you all know yet, but the crime rate has been off the chain in a lot of states, and that has not reached the news. They're only been talking about or focusing on, right, the Delta or whatever. It's had three different names, so I don't know. But anyway, and crime rate has been expeditiously increased, right? But that's not been discussed or advertised. So let's talk about the event that could trigger a lockdown in 2 weeks. Then I'm logging off again. I don't want to make this long because I did a live stream earlier, so my voice would get weak. So let me share Rethinking the Dollars video, and then I'm going to share this with you all so you can understand where it's coming, what it's talking about. Yeah, CD, that's what I'm getting to. I'm just not the 20-minute mark. So you have nationwide emergency alert system test scheduled for August 11th. Next week is the nationwide test of emergency alert system AS. After skipping last week's annual test due to the pandemic, that means it did not do it last year, but it's definitely going to happen this year, right? So after skipping this, the national test will consist of two portions, testing WEA and EAS compatibilities. Both tests will begin at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, August the 11th. 2 is the spoken word effects, right? Then you also have the 2-2 in the Twin Towers and the Miami condos, right? Which also means energy, frequency, and vibration. On the second day, God moved, he spoke, right? Energy, frequency, and vibration. Spoken word, energy, frequency, and vibration, pretty much a spoken word effect. The test is in partnership with the Federal Communities Commission. Listen at this. I've been telling you about 5G towers. Cell towers will broadcast text as a part of the wireless emergency test for about 30 minutes, according to FEMA. People who have opted in to receive the test from the agency will receive a message that says, this is a test, right? There's really nothing, right? That hasn't happened. Now, I haven't opted in. I won't opt in. A similar message on radios and television stations, emergency alert system. Now, you see that we've known that in the past that has happened. However, I'm going to show you how this may or may not affect people that has the mRNA in them, right? The wireless emergency system was launched in 2012 with the aim of allowing government agencies to alert the public of national emergencies, dangerous weather, missing children, critical situations, right? Others said the widespread of severe weather or other events may postpone the test. If it's postponed, it will be August the 25th. So this is the video that I shared with you all from Rethinking the Dollar. They kind of broke this down and talked about maybe at this point the numbers could increase because the people that have the mRNA, it may cause some adverse reactions, right? So let me replay this video and break it down. Could trigger a lockdown in 2 weeks, right? We will see. Maybe, maybe not, but we definitely will see how the numbers are maybe increase or maybe not increase at that time, right? But it's definitely worth noting and worth knowing about.
To lockdowns, shutdowns, and school closures. But he also once said that we didn't have to wear masks anymore once we were vaccinated. So why should Americans trust him now?
Well, because we listen to the scientists, we listen to the expert. This is a public health situation. This is not about politics at all. This is about saving lives. And this is what the president is all about. He wants to make sure that we are saving lives. If you look at Peter, the last 6 months, that's what he's done every day. And you see that in the numbers. Now we're at a point where we have to double down and make it very, very clear to people that we can't let the pandemic win. We have to continue to fight.
So if you're listening to the science, if scientists come to you at some point down the line and say, it is our opinion that there should be shutdowns and there should be school closures, you would do that?
Well, we listen to, like I said, we listen to the CDC and the expert and their guidance. The CDC is a body that is very well respected, and we follow
the whole scenario. The whole scene looked like a Saturday night skit type of event. It just looked fake. It look staged. It's just nothing about anything in regards to this administration seems real on the surface. So I still am skeptical and I question that. But long and behold, it's news. It's what it is. And so the young lady mentioned that as of right now, there is a possibility based upon science, based upon what the experts say, based upon the CDC recommendations, all that good stuff. So that right there to me was a seed that was sown into what possibly could come. Now, I'm not sure if it's a result of the globalist, the organizer of this entire experience losing control and needing another event, or it's just something that's already in the cards. It's a part of their script anyway. But then also you factor in on June 11th, and of course, somebody put this in a Discord, on June 11th, FEMA and the FCC will be doing an emergency test broadcast. And what's different about this one, this is the second one that will be nationwide. And of course, I'll try to link the article beneath this video here. But yet we've already had one of those a while ago. So why now type of event? So if you go even deeper, and this is where things get a little sketchy and where I could be completely far gone, but yet stick with me. And then, of course, I advise you to do your own research and put together your pieces of the puzzle to see if you can get a picture that's similar or completely different, either way. But then again, I've been paying more attention, as I've mentioned, into this whole health experience that's been thrown at us with this, disease or virus we're experiencing. And as you hear more from the alternative media scientists and experts in that field, you hear more about the mRNA technology and what's inside those vials. And according to a lot of things I've shared on the Discord as well as on Twitter, and then also I want to encourage you guys to make sure you connect with me on Telegram, because it's my suspicion within the next couple of months, the channel might be taken away. So I'm trying to not necessarily focus as much on the YouTube channel and just focus on the alternative media outlets. But I watched a video recently that I posted in the Telegram channel about some of the ingredients in the jab itself. And the graphene oxide is something that a lot more people are talking about now, because the Pfizer and the Moderna, and I think maybe I know the J&J and AstraZeneca.
Okay, so he mentions right there the graphene oxide, right? The graphene oxide in the hey, hello, Bob, double B, Bob Bissell. Thank you for tuning in, right? The graphene oxide in the Moderna and the Pfizer, right? So graphene oxide and the mRNA.
Some of the ingredients in the jab itself. And the graphene oxide is something that a lot more people are talking about now, because the Pfizer and the Moderna, and I think maybe I know the J&J and AstraZeneca, which are the single doses, those shots are a different technology, different substance, I believe. So the two vaccines that we've been told about, the Pfizer and the Moderna, have the mRNA technology in it. So if you break down the list of what the composition of those vials is that goes into the arm, an overwhelming majority of that is something called graphene oxide, which of course is toxic, and there's more people in the medical field to talk about that. But one interview I would listen to recently, the young lady said that it's a neutral metal that can be activated if it's positively charged. And then she hinted at the idea, this is speculation, that if there was a signal given, it could activate and turn on and of course cause extreme damage. And so you got a test signal coming August 11th. You got a good small portion of the population that have already participated with one or both jabs. And so could this be an event to trigger the need to lock down? And what do I mean by this? That's possible 3 events there. So we got a lot of people participating, and of course the push to get more people participating, and they appear to be scrambling because they're on a clock for some reason. As I've always suspected, it's something to do with this possible fall. And of course, flu season and things like that. The narrative is breaking down. There's videos out there circulating about how the hospitals in France the doctors are walking out. They're no longer administering those jabs. So they're pressed for time, I believe. Now, this could be a part of the plan originally, or this could be completely just, speculation, nonsense on my part, far left field, tinfoil hat stuff. Or this could be something we can play with, because it also factors into the Cyber Polygon event that could possibly follow within that 30-day time frame from August 11th to 9/11. And so if August 11th, the FCC and FEMA sent off some test signal utilizing the newly put up 5G towers that are out there now, perhaps there's some type of signal that can be given off, or something that can activate those neutral graphene oxide particles that are in the body from those that have participated thus far, creating some type of chemical reaction in their body, therefore leading to some type of event internally to a lot of people, which would then give a quote unquote valid reason for the Biden administration to consider the need to shut down. Because instantaneously, if it plays out between the graphene oxide in the system, the cell towers emitting some type of text message charge or whatever, even myself, I've been getting notifications about upgrade to 5G. And all along I'm thinking, like, I don't want 5G. I'm fine with 4G. That's fine with me. I don't want any additional EFMs coming through, whatever. So, but point in case is, a lot of people have participated. A lot of people might have 5G phones or even 4G. If there's some type of signal put out there, it can activate some things internally that could cause a lot of bodily harm, therefore creating the illusion or the appearance of an event And then, of course, they're going to jump on the narrative of cases are up, hospital surge. And within that August 11th timeframe, a week thereafter, there could be some type of announcement saying that due to the surge of either the same variant or they can throw out a new variant, we have to consider, science says it's time to shut back down. And of course, this plays back into how I think it was about a month and a half ago when we were talking about how all of a sudden there's a change of narrative. CDC said no masks, go back to normal, have fun, just get vaccinated, and all the lottery stuff came out. It came out of nowhere. And I think it was a setup for possibly what could be coming in mid-August. So between August 11th, those that have participated, and the fact that if this whole 5G, 4G situation kicks in, I could create a hell of an event. And then to piggyback even more, the Cyber Polygon event. There's going to be some type of market correction. So if the narrative from the White House or wherever they're broadcasting from comes out that there's some need to shut down, you better believe the markets will not respond favorably. Therefore, we could have another type of event similar to last March where the markets do a tank. And of course, if they tank this time, there's already been a year worth of damage done that they're trying to so-called recover from. It would only escalate and go that much further down in the red, causing more of a deflationary type of crash. And therefore, some type of event could also play into this equation in this form of a cyber attack or some type of banking event. And this is that 30-day window I'm talking about. So we got.
So he said more of a cyber attack or banking event could trigger a lockdown. Some of the key points in that video clip is talking about the graphene oxide is a neutral metal, right? A neutral metal. Yes, Bob. I have been stacking up on mine as well, my ammo. But it's a neutral metal, positively charged. I have security coming to my home that beef that up tomorrow as well, my security measures. And definitely go to the ammo. I don't have to go to a range though. I'm in the South. I go out there in the country and practice my rounds with my friend guys and my cousins and things like that. And so neutral, metal activated, positively charged, right? I did watch the movie last time I played this video because I had never seen Cell. As we have exactly 111 people in 111. I think someone asked me what 1111 means. I'll break that down. It means a lot. But as it relates to what's going on here, I'll break that down in a few minutes. I'm not even gonna mess with my hair. I'm just gonna let it stick out. But definitely been doing that. I'm going to definitely protect myself and my family, right? I've been doing that since last year. Actually, since there were so many runs on people investing in it in weaponry, people that know what the whole agenda was, right? Um, you got some people that knew what the agenda was, and you got some people just ready to get party and take the jab, right? But as it relates to this, I just hit 37 on likes. Y'all hit those likes. 37 likes. Thank you. Thank you for the 37 likes. And again, Lori and Jackson, one Sir Jackson, thank you for the 1111 super chat. So let's get on 1111. Who me asked, what does that mean? I told you all what 444 means. Even in Revelation, it talks about 144,000, right? But I won't get into 444 right now. But one of the things that help that my 401s is executive order by JFK, the 35th president. 3 plus 5 is 8. 8 is the number of new beginnings, right? He was president for 2 years. Again, 2 is energy, vibration, spoken words, effects, changes, frequency changes, right? Twin Towers, and the recent Miami condos. This was June 11th, people, 1963. 1963, June 11th. Also, if you listen to that video on Rethinking the Dollar, the one that I just shared, it also breaks down another June 11th date of when this order was released for the national emergency testing on their website, right? So that national order was released. So this is where I started with the 111, right? Of telling people that we are going through a currency system reset. JFK, he signed his executive order exactly on June 11th, and he wanted the removal of obstructions of justice and suppression um, combinations, but he also wanted legal and sound money, right? So he wanted to return back to the gold standard, right? And it never happened, right? So he wanted to return back to the gold standard. His untimely death stopped that from happening, but in 1971, the dollar was made dead by President Nixon years later. And this year in 2021, we will celebrate that 50th year anniversary, right? That 50th year anniversary of the dollar becoming dead, and the 50th in the Bible represents Jubilee year, the year of freedom from debt, right? Bankruptcies, debt erased, a reset of a currency like system exchange is 50 in the Bible, and also 50 represents divine order, meaning that it will happen. It is scheduled to happen, and our government has to abide by biblical laws and timing as it relates to the economy, right? So just in a couple of days, we'll mark that 50th year anniversary. So I'm going to now, Nancy Pelosi has been very, I think, silent and quiet during this process. Cory Bush says many of the Democratic Party or colleagues choose to go on vacation early today rather than staying on to vote to keep people in their homes. She was sleeping on the Capitol. Nancy Pelosi and the other Democratic Party, when Trump was president, was very vocal and active, and you know, and anti um, Trump and whatever. Now, I'm not for Trump. Don't get me wrong. I'm not for Trump. I'm not for any president, right? You can call me neutral. No president has ever made anyone rich or improved the economy, right? Although I can say that when Trump was in office, if you were investing in stocks or you traded stocks, you could have definitely became rich, and that the economy was on the uptrend. And then he did give the largest amount of stimulus of federal unemployment of $600 during his tenure. And he was the one that began the stimulus movement of the first stimulus of $1,200. And he wanted a bigger stimulus. And I think he pushed that before he left out of office, right? But again, I don't get into politics like that. I don't I don't put my faith and trust in them. However, whenever their tenure is, whatever they're doing to push the economy in the states, right? If you have a financial education, financial literacy, you can definitely improve your personal economy by capitalizing on that, right? Pierre Gilbert, I'm not sure if his video is in English. I never listened to him. Someone brought up Pierre Gilbert, who me said that, but I'll check it out at my leisure. Again, YouTube, do not give me a copyright strike or against this video. This is for teaching and educational purposes only. But Dick Gregory did give a warning about this, and I may not play the audio. I'll just leave the link. This was in 1979, and I will just let you see the title of it because I don't want to get copyrighted. But every time there has been a release of something new in technology, right? The radiation, and I just typed in Dick Gregory on radiation. This was 1979. He was speaking against this, right? And because I do not own the copyrights to this, I don't want to play it on my video and get this entire live stream copyrighted. But this was Dick Gregory in Washington, D.C. And again, I will share the link with you all to this. You can watch it at your leisure. But he was talking then, and every shift of a new wave of technology. This was in 79. the same results have been happening. And so when you get people that say you're a conspiracy theorist or blah, 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 as Papa Duck said on his live stream today, that the people that they thought crazy in the movies that was telling the truth, it found out that they were really the ones that were informed and educated and that lived and survived. And look at the amount of people at this rally. At this rally. And again, this is 1 minute and 18 seconds. So I put the link in here. If not, just do Dick Gregory on nuclear power. Watch this at your leisure. And all of these people, see, that's, the freedom of speech and assembly at that time was aware of radiation. This is when technology also was increasing. I'm not sure if it was more like in the radio world or technology world, but there was definitely a change or shift in the technology world. And as you all know, right, there's a change in our currency system. It's going to be a Fed coin, digital dollar. Let's see, they're working on the Fed coin aggressively. I thought that they might be a fourth stimulus. However, I do not believe that there will be a fourth stimulus. Right, the Fed coin is inevitable. Right. Let me share this with you. Faircoin will give government total control. That's what people don't know. So when the World Economic Forum, the WEF, made the comment that people will own nothing and be happy, they're saying that people are going to be in such a desperate state, right? And that by the time that they offer them a solution through a Fed coin, and which will give the government total control, they won't own anything, but they'll be happy to get anything. And they will be just that much of a destitute or a desperate state, right? Let me try to get this off. A desperate state of needing some type of financial help. And this will make them happy that something will come down the pipeline. So this is Keto News. Let's watch small clips or increments of this. Let me see. Maybe I don't have my volume. Okay.
A digital currency. Now, China is leading the way, and the Fed will be releasing a discussion paper this summer about the benefits and costs of the CBDC. Well, either way, Fed Chair Jerome Powell says this cannot happen without congressional approval. But does it need to happen? Does the U.S. need a digital dollar, and what does it entail? To discuss, we're joined by a leader and pioneer in the digital currency and blockchain space, Cameron Chell. He is the executive chairman and co-founder of CurrencyWorks, a financial technology blockchain pioneer, cryptocurrency provider, and a market leader in the development of trading platforms for NFTs. Cameron, great to have you here on Kitco with us.
Always so great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Cameron, the conversations about CBDCs are really heating up. Here in the US, we had 2 Federal Reserve officials recently expressing very strong skepticism about the need for the Fed to issue a digital currency. And one point being made is that many dollar transactions are already virtual. So how would a digital dollar be any different from what we have if you consider that most of today's money is effectively digital? Direct deposits, paychecks, credit and debit cards, PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay. So why would we need a digital dollar?
Well, I think there's a big distinction between a digital dollar and a dollar that moves digitally. So what we experience today are dollars that move digitally. So I've got a representation of a dollar bill in my bank account. I'm transferring it to Whole Foods through my Apple Pay account. They're receiving a dollar. But the back end transaction, the back end functionality of that is really rooted in 2 or 3 year old century technology and notions. A digital dollar is something that has function far beyond just the transfer of money. And so it's inevitable that national currencies or sovereign currencies will come into an effect. It just is too inefficient when you've got some nations that have access to use these digital dollars, and I'm happy to give good examples of why these will become important as a.
So for time's sake, I'm going to stop it right there, right? I'm signing out. I just want to make this quick video. The digital dollar system is coming. It is definitely different than an electronic system. I'm not saying that everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I just made that reference to Papa Duck. I think it's sometimes people approach, right? I think it's sometimes the way they can explain. I think it's sometimes their educational lingo and language. Um, and sometimes people come in such a aggressive tactic that they do come off you know crazy sometimes, to be honest with you. And so it's just about educating people. If you want to, I'm just at that point now. I've talked about it so long, right? The people that's partook in it has already have. August 11th is just a couple of days away. We'll see, will there be any truth to this, or is it just another maybe theory of conspiracy? But I do know that radiation for years, again, reference to the Dick Gregory video, has caused health issues in people. And radiation is always released when there's a technology increase. So some of the things are a move toward technology development, right? And for example, I listen to some people talk about this and I think they're crazy because they just don't know how to communicate it. I think in a very informed way. I hear people talking about national born citizens and birth certificate, becoming a natural citizens. And they talk about it in such an aggressive and crazy way that they can't even speak calm to you about it. Then they do appear to be crazy. And that's why I don't listen to, they don't seem like their mind is stable enough to have a very calm conversation. And so, I've talked about this. I just decided, because it's August the 11th date coming up. At this point, I let people do what they want to do, and it's done, and that's their decision. People right now feel like they're making what they feel like is in their best interest. Nobody would take something that they think will harm them, but unfortunately, that's exactly what many people may have already done. And to me, it just makes common sense. When something has not been researched, why would you sign up and enroll to be the research, especially when you've had no symptoms? Many people went months, almost years, but it's just because they subscribe to the news, they watch the news, and the news creates fear. And for some people, they are really feeling the effects of radiation. Radiation is real. It is real. It is not fake. As Trump used to refer to it as the invisible enemy, right? And they are feeling the effects of radiation. So when you come to them and tell them, oh, this is not real, this is not a virus, then they want to know, well, why am I sick then? Why is my chest hurting? Why do I have headaches? Why is my throat sore? How can you explain this? And so when you can't explain radiation to them and the harmful effects that radiation does to the body, and the 5G towers and the release of it to go to a digital system, and just leave it alone at that. You don't have to convince anybody. If they ask you a question, give them the answer and just leave it alone, walk away. And that's it. What made people crazy is sometimes the inability to communicate in an effective way. So I do have these anti-radiation neutralizers, because what most people don't know is that we are living in a matrix. Like, we are living in a virtual world. Most people spend more times on their telephones and kids playing games than they do on real life anyway. Your phone is just a virtual world, right? And so I have these anti-radiation neutralizer, because they would start asking you questions like, well, you get radiation from microwave and using your electronics, but they don't understand if you these 5G towers are much stronger in radiation power right, than anything ever released. And it's happened every time a technology upgrade happens. When the radio waves was released and, radio began, the same effect or effects happen, right? And so it eliminates up to 99% radiation from electronics because this is frequencies, people. These are frequencies that have introduced a more healthy, grounded, and balanced body. Long-term exposure to EMFs has been scientifically proven to cause negative long-term effects. EMFs are, as President Trump used to say, invisible enemy, are invisible frequencies that are on the same category as UV light from the sun and X-rays. Now, UV light can damage and X-rays can damage your body. However, the outer layer of the sun is called the crown and corona. And actually, you get vitamin D from the sun. So sunlight for melanin people is a health and healing. Now, if you are of a different skin tone or complex, then sunlight have been caused to cause cancer. And that's why melanin people exposure to sun has done great for their health. And them melanin people or people in the black and brown community quarantining, staying out of the sun is never in the best interest for people in the black and brown community. So sun rays for some is effective, but not melanin people, right? Not black and brown people. And when you have, especially people in the black and brown community who don't understand the health effects that they get from the sun and reconstructed their DNA, right? Then that's when their health begins to fail. Now let's read some comments. Perhaps part of depopulation agenda from 9 billion to much lower. Yes, depopulation has always been the agenda of Warren Buffett, even Elon Musk. They've always felt like the population was over populated. And a lot of the going Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk going to the Mars or to the moon has been because no one has ever seen the backside of the moon. There may be something else people don't know. We've only seen a front facing. So they believe that the moon actually has technology on the back end. And these technologies are helping people in rural areas to get higher signals in order to transfer to this new world economy of digital and mobile banking or mobile phone. The radiation should be dismantled since the laser beam is enough for them to kill each other or play Fortnite. I don't know about that. The laser beam and Fortnite. I don't know. There are whole subdivision suburbs, North Carolina, St. Louis, that have died from radiation from leftover nuclear waste from World War II. Wow, great information. I didn't know that, if that's accurate and true. Thank you, 35 states below. Thank you for tuning in. Banks, JP Morgan and Chase, they've already switched to a digital currency. They were strongly against their employees investing in Bitcoin and crypto. Now they are investors. So you're going to have the big banks that will invest. Smaller commercial banks more than likely will go away. Also, the U.S. Treasury is already paying off bills for the United States. And let me see if I just saw this article paying off the U.S. bills, which that's a new that U.S. Treasury had never paid bills. I think the last time the U.S. Treasury paid bills was, I think, 1913. And so the Federal Reserve definitely will be revamped as well as the taxation system. But I can't find that article, right? I cannot find that article, but I just read that that the U.S. Treasury is now paying United States bills, something that has not happened since 1913. So I'm signing out, you all. Just want to bring you that informative live stream, right? And I'm not going to read that comment out loud. Bob says, this is a very good comment. Got us all pouring chemical sunblock. We need 20 minutes of full sun in our white or black skin. Both sides have at the highest time like noon to 1. Ugly sight, especially with white butts, but we all need vitamin D. Bob, I do agree. The highest peak of the sun or time for this is noon. That's why when people work jobs, they give them lunch breaks at noon. And so that they can be so concerned about a lunch break or eating this time. In most cases, people eat the unhealthiest at this time, that they don't take time to meditate at this very critical hour and to focus on their health or health habits, right? So, yeah, you're right. That is a great time to do it, right? And I think 3, 6, 9, a certain hours after the sunset. But I only teach that to my private Patreon members. That's with the Nikola Tesla 369 and also the 11 formula. Formula how to calculate that. And I found the one biblical scripture in the Bible that proves that to be a very calculated and powerful method. Most people think 369 is writing something 3 times and writing again 6 times and writing again 9 times and saying it 9 times a day or 6 times a day or 3 times. No, 369 is way, way more powerful than that. And they can't even show it to you in scripture. But I've only found one scripture that gives the revelation on that, and that's something that I would not share publicly, right? That's something I would not share publicly. Not all information is meant to be shared with the public. Jesus taught that in teaching his parables, right? People have to invest to get the secrets knowledge of the kingdom. Those are just not things you give away out openly or, free. That's an investment type knowledge or higher level. All right. So for the people that gave the 1111 super chat, thank you so much. This is our proclamation as MJ gives the 1111. I had 3 people exactly to give it. So this is what we say, right? I always give with expectations to receive, right? I always give with the expectations to receive. So I have received 30, 60, 100-fold, or 1,000-fold, right? Return in the exact sum in what I have given with good to all concerned. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the infinite powers of the universe, right? And thank you in advance that I am receiving this with grace and with perfect timing and with multiplication increase. Also, someone asked about 111, another 111 code that I have. When people give the 1111, I love to come from scripture with 1111 as well. Second Chronicles 1 and 11, when God made Solomon the richest man or the richest king that ever lived, King Solomon. Numbers 11 and 17 that says, God said, I will come and speak with you directly, right? Most people think that you have to have a third party to hear from God. No, God is within us, right? Ephesians 3:20, now unto him that is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that I can ask or you can ask or think but it's according to the power that works within you. Recognize the power that works within you, right? And so also we have Acts, and I have a lot of prosperity scriptures, right? I have a lot of Psalms 1 and 11, Psalms 11. It's just a lot of them. I'm probably going to write a book on those scriptures one day, right? But also, right? Let me see. What's my other one back here? You got Acts 1 and 11 through 11, right? It talks about appearing to people, giving instructions, taking up to heaven, and teaching them and eating with them and speaking about the kingdom of God, the metaphysical, how the kingdom of God works, right? And he tells you, he said, why do you stand here looking into the sky? This is the same Jesus, Acts 11:11, who has been taken from you in heaven. He will come back to you the same way you have seen him go into heaven. So he said, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you, and you will be my witnesses. He said, so don't look up for the kingdom. The kingdom is within you, right? Don't come ask me, when are we going to restore this, right? He said, now that I've ascended, is you have that power within you. And he gave humane man that power in Genesis. He said, now subdue, have dominion, be fruitful, and multiply, right? My Patreon members, I shared the video, Brittany, to my Patreon members, how to purchase those radiation blockers. So you should know from the Patreon members. Okay, you all, I'm signing out. Here's to your health and your wealth, right? Your peace and your prosperity. And I always say your credit, your cash flow, and your credit and your crypto and your cash flow, and manifest with your mind, right? Multiply with your mouth. Use the power of the spoken word effect. Manifest with your mind, multiply with your mouth, right? Maximize your mission and multiply your money, right? Multiply your money. I was trying to pull up Coin 360 to look at crypto real quick. We got Bitcoin today at 38,000. We got Bitcoin today at 38,000, the new currency system. You got Ethereum. Ooh, Ethereum, negative 1111. I might buy some of that because that's my numbers. At 2,500. ADA is in the green today. It's up 3.5%. So people, this is the new currency system. This is what pushing the new 5G on a global scale. This is going to be a global depression. This is not just something the United States will see. Also, speaking of global depression, I've also heard that, let me see. Right now, Sydney, Australia, people are losing jobs and businesses. They're trying to get 80% vaccination, but only 15% have taken it. And so far, the jab so far, and they have another 4 weeks of lockdowns in Sydney, Australia, right? So this will be a global thing. Also in New York, you cannot go to restaurants right now in New York if you have not received it. New York and restaurants, gyms, and other indoor activities. If you're unvaccinated, it will require proof of vaccination to enter our restaurants, fitness centers, and indoor activities. So just try to make peace with people. If that's the decision they've made, that's their decision. Hope all is well. And if you made the opposite decision, then all is well to you too. Some things to get to pH your body: lemon water, keep a healthy pH level within the body, tourmaline for radiation, rebellion, or off of the body, so it won't get within the body as radiation is stronger through 5G Wi-Fi, and Epsom salt. Soaking Epsom salt help keep your pH level, your body. Sun gazing and earthing, right? Sun gazing and earthing. So Great news though for those who are prepared and are already in cryptocurrency, and already is converting their cash, which is worth less, into this new currency system. This is going to be the greatest wealth transfer that this generation has ever experienced. But on the other side, on the flip side, this is also going to be the Great Depression 2.0, right? The greatest depression that this generation ever experienced as well. So it's going to be prepared and unprepared people. If you are prepared, then also prepare to not only protect yourself and your health, but protect your self in your homes as well, right? Because it's going to be definitely the haves and the have-nots. Much of the middle class will get poorer, and again, the rich will continue to get richer, right? CD says he and his family have not taken it, never been sick. I've never been sick either, although I have family members that have gotten sick from the virus, right? Also, I have powder vitamin C. That's well. I also have vitamin D3 that I'm taking as well, and zinc as well as those supplementary vitamins, because you know that during the fall and winter months, the sun rays and the sun is not as dormant, right? Where you can do a lot of sun gazing and to get that your immunity build from the sun, right? So while you still have the sun at its highest peak of rising, do take advantage of that, right? Do take advantage of that. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Queen out. Be at peace, be at health, be in health, right? I wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul, your mind, your will, and emotions prosper. Queen out. Good night.